Hello, mommies. Good afternoon. It's time for our live. So I'll just wait a bit for moms to join and then we'll start. My target is 20-25 minutes, so it doesn't take up so much of our time. Hello, Jojo Lola. Hello, sweet Jenny. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad that you could find the time to join. Welcome. So like I said, I don't want to take so much of our time, so my target is 20-25 minutes. Hopefully we don't get 25 minutes, so we just give it about 1 or 2 minutes. Just wait for other people to join, and then we just go right ahead. So if you can hear me, please wave. Sound not like I'm not talking to myself. If you can hear what I'm saying, please just wave. Hello, Notion Apparel. Hello, JJ Lola. I can see you. Thank you for making the time. Thank you so much. So our topic for today is finding joy in your season of motherhood. Earlier this week, about a few days ago, when I made the post, I did this poll, like, which season of motherhood are you in? Awakening, that's the first pregnancy stage, survival, postpartum, functional, when your kids are between 2 to 7 years old. Hello, Divachella, thank you so much for joining. And then I think I got up to emptiness. That's when our kids are no longer living with us, when they've established their own careers and probably started their own families. But most of the comments I think I got about 2 comments that said that they were in the postpartum period. And then most of the, let me just say 85% of the comments were like they are in the functioning stage of motherhood. That's their kids are between ages 2 to 7, which is where I happen to fall in. So for the purpose of this live, we're just going to touch a bit on postpartum. We're just going to maybe spend 3 minutes on postpartum, and then we'll talk about the functioning season of motherhood. That's when our kids are between the ages of 2 to 7, because I think that's the group that most of us fall into. Okay, it's okay, Jojo Lola. What stage of motherhood are you in? Like, what's the age range of your kids? Like, the average age range of your kids? Is this from 0 to 1, first pregnancy? Obviously you're not in the first pregnancy stage. Or is it postpartum? I don't think you're in the postpartum stage, Jojo Lola, unless I missed something. Ages 2 to 7, that's functional. Then ages 8 to 12, I think that's active duty. Yes. Then ages 13 and above, 13 to 20 is like high alert. That's the teenage age. I don't have much teenage moms following me, so we're just going to focus on postpartum, like I said. And then functioning season, that's between the ages 2 to 7, because I believe that most of us fall into this range, or we just fall maybe a little bit outside of it. Okay, so let's start with postpartum. We'll just spend about 3 minutes in postpartum. First of all, I think in our part of the world, we don't really prepare for postpartum. We don't prepare. Okay, Divachella is saying active duty and postpartum. That's great. In our part of the world, we usually don't prepare for postpartum. I'm just speaking from my own perspective. That's my own personal experience, and also interacting with a lot of moms. I feel like when you're pregnant, you are just so excited. You end up buying things. You buy and buy and buy. Then you check baby center. You check this page on Instagram. You keep buying and buying and buying. Most of the preparation we make for pregnancy is for the baby. We rarely remember ourselves, and this is one of the reasons why we find postpartum very difficult. Also, the second reason I found out that mothers find postpartum very difficult is that in a lot of homes, once the woman has a baby, the man will just like focus on his job. Like, he's now all everything. Probably, I'm not a man, but I feel like maybe what's going on in their head is, I have a family now. I have this little baby at home. I have a wife. I have to provide for them. I have to make sure there's food on the table. I have to make sure that they're not lacking anything and all of that. So in a lot of homes, the husband will now be completely absent, apart from providing money for the household. So it drives a wedge between the couples. So maybe the woman is having such a difficult time looking after her newborn, but she doesn't have anybody to confide in. Even if she's confiding in the husband, this one just looking at her like, oh, there's food everywhere. Hello, Chidima, thank you for joining. You might just looking at her like there's food everywhere. Probably we have house help, maybe we don't have house help, or there is loads and loads of pampers, there's loads and loads of baby food. So why are you frowning? So that's also the second reason why we find postpartum very difficult. So these are the two major reasons I was able to outline. But if you have other reasons, if postpartum was very difficult for you, it was very difficult for me. For my first child, I suffered from loneliness. I felt isolated from the rest of the world, and I didn't really have anybody to confide in because I didn't have friends in the same stage of life as I was. So I would say if you're currently in the postpartum stage of motherhood, one of the things you can do is to live in the present. Just take things one day at a time. Yesterday I went to visit my friend. She sells human hairs. She's a mom like me, but she's always looking so beautiful, put together and everything. So when I went to her house, she said she was selling it. So when I went to her house, I was like, today I'm in your house, you must teach me how you always manage to be looking so good and everything. So we're now gisting, and then she told me that she realized that all the years that she was so focused on her husband and kids, that she was very unhappy. That even though people will be complimenting her outside, oh, your kids are so beautiful, oh, your kids are so smart, oh, your kids are looking very good, she said that she was very unhappy. So one of the things that she started doing is, it sounds very simple, but she said that she started sitting down to eat. That before, if she's done cooking, she'll just make sure that her husband's food is served, and then her kids have plenty things inside their food, or meat, fish, egg. And then sometimes she just sit in the kitchen and be waiting for them to finish so she can clear the dishes. That she was not looking after herself before, and that it was making her very unhappy. So that she then decided that after having her last, because she just had a set of twins, she decided that after having her set of twins, that she's going to make out time to start looking after herself, and that was when the whole transformation came. So I would say during postpartum, if you feel all alone, you can always talk to somebody. She said she used to feel alone, then she started talking to her sister more frequently. So if you're in the postpartum stage of motherhood, it can be a very lonely experience. But what I want you to do is, even if you feel like your husband can't understand you, if your husband cannot understand you, your mom can. If your mom can't, probably your mother-in-law, if you guys have that kind of close relationship, probably your mom-in-law, this is making me to sweat, sorry. Probably your mother-in-law will be able to understand you. If you have sisters, just talk. Motherhood is beautiful and everything, but it can also be a very isolating experience sometimes. So just talk. I believe me, when you talk, you feel better. The next thing you can do, if you're currently in the postpartum stages, if you go out, for instance, if you go to church, if you go for your baby's immunization, see, I'm advising myself, even though I don't have a little baby right now, like I'm not in postpartum stage, but we mothers tend to keep to ourselves a lot. You understand? I'm not saying go and become the social butterfly of the whole city, or go and talk to everybody you meet, but if you see a mom like you, and maybe you just feel like you should say hi, why don't you say hi? Just say hi. You might not even end up exchanging numbers. You might just end up maybe discussing with the mom for the maybe 20 minutes you were in the hospital waiting for your baby to be immunized, or maybe your baby is crying in the church, and then you step outside and you see another mom struggling with her baby. You don't even know, both of you don't have to be best of friends, but just try to talk. Try to speak it out. That's the first thing I want to say about postpartum. Then second thing I want to say about finding joy in postpartum is just realize that, I don't know how to explain it, you're kind of sharing the creation work with God. You know, this motherhood thing that we are doing, it's like a divine assignment. It's the most perfect job in the world. Can you imagine any other person that can sweep the house 15 times a day, that can clean up after little kids, that teaching the little kids morals, teaching them good characters, looking after them round the clock, making sure that they are okay every day for the rest of their lives? Like, it's a wonderful assignment that God gave us, but sometimes due to the fact that we are human beings, we do the work imperfectly. We always do the work imperfectly, but just realize that what you're doing is actually the best job in the world, and just take it easy with yourself, and then try to be mindful, like practice mindfulness. Try to stay in full control of your mind. You know this thing, like when you have a baby, okay, probably I don't know how it's done in your own church and everything, but sometimes if in my own church we do naming ceremony, like the 7th or 8th day after your child is born, we do naming ceremony. So when everybody gathers in your sitting room, You cook for them now. You will not cook now, like you're a new mom, but you outsource the cooking, or you just get, these caterers now, meat pie and everything. So they'll be proclaiming blessings on the child. When it's time for you to walk, you will walk. When it's time for you to run, you will run. Like, it's always a joyful ceremony. Even you that is a new mom, you'll be like, hey, oh my God, that's finished work for me. See how this will just gathered for me. And your baby will be all cute in his white christening clothes now. And then everybody will just eat, laugh and go. And then in the night, the baby refuses to sleep. Probably the baby has colic, or he does not have colic, or he just does not want to sleep. And then maybe you've breastfed for the 6th time within the space of 3 hours, and then your baby is not sleeping, and you and your mom are just awake like this, so tired of looking at the baby. Then all those negative feelings will now start crashing. Like, even the beautiful evening you had the previous day will just fly out of your head. You just start thinking, hey God, when is this one going to end? Who sent me message? Why is this baby not sleeping? You'll be googling all kinds of things. It's not, I don't want to say that there's light at the end of the tunnel, because it's not really a tunnel. Just know that your experience is unique, your motherhood experience is unique, but literally every one of us has been through something similar. Even though our experiences are unique, we have been through something similar. I use myself for an example. I never experienced colic with my babies, but at the same time, none of my newborns ever slept at night. I don't know what was doing them, but I'm telling you that they never slept at night. So after I had my first baby, when I had the second one, like when they were discharging us from the hospital, my mind was doing beam, beam, beam. So this is like the end of sleep until further notice. So if you're in the postpartum phase and it's very difficult, just know that there are so many other women like you that also went through that phase. You understand? And then that period is like, I will even say it's the most delicate part of our motherhood journey, because your baby is so helpless, relying on you. You as a new mom, you are also helpless, but you are doing your best to take care of that infant. That's when the God factor comes in. Like, that postpartum phase is not ordinary. That's when, like, women are co-creators with God, looking after that infant. Even when you cannot look after yourself, you're making sure that your little baby is okay. Like, I want you to stop seeing the postpartum phase like as one ordinary thing that you have to slave through. Just look at it like, okay, this is God's divine assignment to me. Okay, there's a quote I want to read out for every mom on this live now that is on the postpartum phase. This quote is by Elizabeth Elliot or something. I don't know if I got her surname right, but I know her name is Elizabeth, probably Elliot. Okay, so for postpartum mom, she's saying, this job has been given to me to do by God. Therefore, it is a gift. Therefore, it is a privilege. Therefore, it is an offering I make every day to God. Therefore, I'm to do it gladly. If I'm to do it for God, I'm to do it gladly because it is for God. Therefore, it is the root to keeping my close relationship with God. You know, the thing is, okay, one time I made a post on my page. I was like, since I became a mom, I started struggling a lot in my spirituality. We don't used to, like, I stopped going to church how I used to go before, because at some point I had 2 babies. Okay, when I had my second baby, my first baby was 11 months old. So, so you can imagine having an 11 months old baby and then maybe a 2 weeks old baby. So, like, going to church was like the least of my worries. So that time I'll always be feeling guilty, but I did not even know that in that my postpartum phase that God was there with me. Like, I was doing that work with God. I don't want to go all religious on you, but this is the kind of mindset that if you develop, it will help you. You stop seeing motherhood like one punishment you have to slave through. You're on this journey with God. You understand? God is the one that gave you the baby, and God entrusted that little baby to you at that particular point. You understand? So I was saying, as I was saying, I will learn to do this motherhood thing God's way. In this motherhood, not in some other job. God looks out for faithfulness, and I will be faithful in my motherhood journey. If you're a postpartum mom, tell yourself, I'll be faithful in my motherhood journey. Whether you're crying and you're doing the postpartum, or you're laughing and you're doing the postpartum, see, you're getting through the day. That is the most important thing that is happening. Sometimes we are human beings. You cannot help but cry. When everything is just, sometimes, okay, I think another very difficult phase of postpartum is most women in Africa have their 2 first kids like in really close range, not as close as my own, but maybe 18 months, 15 months, 16 months, the second baby is already there. So you have another baby in the house, and then you come back with a brand new baby. So it's very difficult for a lot of women to handle. I know I struggled with it a lot, so that's what makes postpartum very difficult, but it's not forever. It's a stage that will pass. Last year I celebrated my kids. My first child celebrated his 6 years old birthday. My second child celebrated his 5 years old birthday. I was just looking at those two boys, and I was like, was it not yesterday? Like, was it not yesterday that you people were just like little ants running over the place? And now the first one is in basic one. So see this motherhood thing like a journey, not an endless journey that will never ever end, but like something that you're doing with God, a walk that you are on with God. Is going to help you. It's what helped me. I was a crybaby too. Yes, I used to cry too sometimes, not when anybody can see. But then I used to cry, but privately. Then if I was to showing my emotions, then I always came off as angry, like very annoyed, because man, I could not understand what I was going through. But that's it. If you're in the survival stage of motherhood, you will survive. You will survive, and it's just a stage that will pass. Okay, so I really want this life to be very interactive so that we can close on time. So I'm done for the postpartum season of motherhood. If you have any other tip that helped you on how you can find joy, during the postpartum phase, just leave it as a comment. I'm going to read it out loud, and then that's how the life will be very interactive. Okay, so now let's move on to the functioning season of motherhood, which a lot of us are in. That's our kids are between the ages of 2 to 7. So the very first thing I want to say for us that are in the functioning phase of motherhood is, if you want joy, you have to go and look for it. Even the Bible said, seek and you will find. So motherhood is such a complicated journey that happiness in motherhood, joyfulness in motherhood, it does not happen to anybody by accident. I'm telling you. Like, you not just be passive, you just sit down in your house and be complaining about everything and then you be joyful. If you want to be joyful, you have to go and seek for that joy. You have to go and find that joy. Where is the first place that you can find that joy? It's this thing I'm about to also applies to the first one I said about postpartum moms. You have to practice mindfulness. Whenever you find yourself, this is the stage of motherhood that we worry a lot. Actually, all the stages of motherhood will be worrying, but when you find yourself worrying so much, whether it's about the past or about the future or about today, just take a deep breath and tell yourself that you're doing well. Listen, okay, you're doing well, and that you're taking it one day at a time. So that's the first thing I have to say. Practice mindfulness. Then the second thing I have to say is seek community. See, I cannot overemphasize this one. You don't have to be following me, Young Nigerian Mom. I can list 10 motherhood blogs, 10 Nigerian motherhood blogs, like off the top of my head. Follow anyone that your spirit connects to. Follow anyone that you like. Seek community. Motherhood can be isolating. For instance, me, I live far away from my family, so my routine is I wake up, I prepare my kids for school, I take them to school, I come back, I do what I want to do, I do my online work. Once it's 2 o'clock, I round up my whatever it is I'm doing online. I take 1 hour break, I go to the school, I get them, we come back, we eat, they watch TV, I read them, they sleep. A very monotonous life. That's what I lead here. And then I don't have a lot of offline friends because everybody's trying to be careful. So you can imagine if I didn't have a community of mothers that I show up every day for and that I interact with every day. Imagine how difficult, imagine how gloomy my life would be. So I don't know where you're watching from now, but I will say seek community. You can follow Mom Confessions. If you like basketballs, gist and DMs, just follow me too. I follow Mom Confessions. You can follow Mom Confessions. If you can follow Fab Mom NG. You can follow the Mom Conversation. You can follow Young Nigerian Mom. You can follow Diary of a Young Pregnant Mom. You can follow Amomizing. Okay, Mimi is no longer here. Mimi is working out, but Mommy at home used to be here. What of Mom's Gist? You can follow Mom's Gist. See, there are plenty. They are like rice. Search for these pages, follow them, seek community. See, you might be having a difficult day and you just show up online and just see something that someone writes, even if the person is saying, even if what the person posted is, if you're reading this right now, you are a good mother. You just pick it and go. The person did not say if you know you didn't yell at your kids today, you're a good mother. The person just said, if you're reading this right now, you're a good mother. And automatically, that's how your day is made. So don't allow yourself to get into that, that isolation phase of motherhood where you don't have anybody to talk to. Your feelings pile up and pile up and pile up until you become this very angry and bitter person, lashing out at your husband, lashing out at your kids, lashing out at even the teachers in your kids' school. So just seek community. That's the second way you can find joy. Okay, please share the mom community's name. Done. I'll share it. Don't worry. I'm going to share either this evening or tomorrow morning. I'm going to share all the mom communities on Instagram that you can follow. Done. Then the third thing I have to say is practice gratitude. See, I know this thing sounds so cliche and even annoying. Like when a mom is having a difficult time, you tell her to practice gratitude. But see, gratitude works. Let me give you a real life example. Just a few days ago, I was telling my husband that, see, this city is just somehow, this place where I live in, I don't like this place, I don't like this place. As I was just saying that, I was like, is it not here now that your child is in school doing well? Is it not here now that you have met 2 women offline? Like, you're always keeping to yourself, but even in that your extreme keeping to yourself, you've managed to find good women. You've managed to get a master's degree. The supervisor you met there was a man of God. He never disturbed you. You finished. As I was just listing all those things, I was like, wow, I've actually done well for myself in this town also. Why do I keep lamenting? You understand? So sometimes if you want to be filled with negative thoughts, I just want you to remember also the sides that are good. You don't always have to dwell on the negatives. There are other positive things that has been happening for you in your life. So always remember to practice gratitude. Then what is the next one I have to say? The next one I have to say is find joy in your efforts. I like giving real life examples because we're all in this motherhood journey together. One time I was very tired, but I wanted to blend tomatoes because I wanted to use it for my kids' food the following morning for school. I was extremely tired, but I just told myself, let me blend it and boil it. Then when I wake up the following morning, 5 a.m., I'll finish the cooking. Do you know what happened? I blended it all right. I put it on top of the gas cooker to boil. I just said, let me sit down for a bit. Men and brethren, I woke up 2 hours later to a black pot. Every single of the tomatoes had burnt. I couldn't salvage anything from that pot. Our house was filled with smoke. Then I didn't know what to put in my children's food flasks the following morning. Like in doing, let me just get to this point before I rest, I ended up ruining everything. Like even the following morning, even before I would wake up the following morning, I already realized that I've already ruined my morning because I was pushing myself beyond my limits. So find joy in your efforts. Find joy in your efforts. Okay, we bought tomatoes now, the same tomato story now, 2 days ago. I spread it, like I just made sure that they were not touching each other so that they will not get soured. Do you know when I blended that thing? This morning. I not blended it 2 days ago. I not blended it yesterday. I blended it this morning. Why am I telling you this thing? The little efforts you make matter. The little efforts you make in your family matter. It might not be my golden rule for getting through the days. What's that thing that I would do right now? I would do today that I'll be like, oh, I achieved something. Once I do that one, every other thing is a bonus. If I'm not able to do any other thing, I continue from the following day. Let me tell you another thing. Do you know that when you find joy in your efforts, your family find joy in your efforts too and appreciate you more? If your husband and kids are used to seeing the workaholic side of you, believe me, the day you sit down to cross your legs, they'll be looking at you like, this one is not done. No. The other one is not done. The other one is not done because they are used to you being on your feet all the time doing that. But if you find joy in those little efforts that you make every day, see, are your kids fed? Yes. Are they clean? Yes. Is your roof on fire? No. Please, I beg. If you're not can't wait till the following day. Find joy in your efforts. No matter how little you think that they are. See, you're doing very well. You're doing very well. Do you know that there are people, there are not many of them, but there are women that actually wake up one day in this motherhood and abandon their kids and run away. Like, I read such stories on Facebook. They just pack their load and disappear. Like, I no do again. As simple as that, they'll just disappear. And then they'll be calling family meetings upon family meetings to see if they can reconcile differences and everything. But see, you and me now, we are sitting down in our homes, like we're slugging it out. We keep showing up every blessed day. So don't compare yourself to any other mother you see on the internet, even mothers that you meet offline. No matter how small your effort is, it matters in your home. You're doing very well. So find joy in it. If today now you intended to cook 2 soups, 1 stew, 1 pot of white rice, and the only thing you could give your children today was golden morn and only 1 soup, see, you scored 100%. You scored 100%. Forget about the rest. The following day, you continue. Your little efforts matter. So please find joy in your little efforts. What is the next one I want to say? Find joy in accepting help. Yesterday, when I went to meet my friend who was selling hair, she was at a motherhood that has taught her a lot. That before, that whatever it is that she drops, like for instance now, if she drops this, I'm holding this earpiece, if she drops it here and somebody moves it 1 inch away from where she drops it, that she's going to have problem with that person. That was how she was before. Like, you must do her own, like exactly how she wants to do it. That's how you must do it. So she now said that after she had her twins, so she now found herself always being cranky and bitter, because even though she has a house help, she has 2 other kids. So the house help was stressed out, like cleaning the house, taking care of her 2 other kids, also assisting in looking after the twins when her mom left and everything. So almost she cannot keep everything exactly the same way you kept it. That postpartum phase stage is a very tight stage for everybody. So she was like, she always be yelling, why didn't you keep this in here? Why didn't you keep this in here? So she now said, one day, her husband now told her, what is it, safe? It's not only sorry that you accept, or yeah, sorry. If you don't want to accept the sorry, you gotta sit down. So she now said she just eyed the man, and the man just left. And then she started laughing. So find joy in accepting help. Sometimes it may not be the exact way you want it, that somebody will do it. When we went on holidays, let me tell you something, my younger sister, she's not here. If she hears me saying this thing, she'll just knock me. So my younger sister, my kids brush their teeth before bathing, before taking their bath. But my younger sister will now bath them, change their clothes, everything. If I now ask her, Chisom, did they brush their teeth? She'll not tell me, hey, oopsie daisy. I'll now start laughing. We'll now go and bring their toothbrush and they'll start brushing their teeth. So normally, if you're someone that is so particular about how someone will help you, you start hammering on that thing. Please, next time, before they bath, make sure they brush their teeth. Do you know what's going to happen? Next time, nobody is going to help you. They'll just be like, just leave her. Whenever she's ready, she will come. She knows how she does it for her children. So whenever she's ready, she'll just come and do it her way. As far as no particular harm is coming from your kids, things must not be done in a particular way. So find joy in accepting help. If someone wants to help you, just allow the person to help you. So is there any other way that you find joy in your current season of motherhood? Just type it up in the comments. Okay, Chidima is saying, this was me before, but not anymore. I appreciate me too. I appreciate any help I see. Share the children are alive. Yes, they are okay. There's no medical emergency. See, everybody will be alright. I beg. So that's it. Is there any other way you find joy in your current season of motherhood? Please let me know, because I've actually exhausted what I have for you today. Like I said, I will not take up so much of your time. So that's it. I'll just wait a little bit for the comments. Welcome, Ami Love. Welcome, Ricky B4. Thank you so much for joining. So how do you find joy in your current season of motherhood? Is there something you used to do before that used to make you very angry and bitter that you stopped doing now and you became a happier person? Just type it up in the comments and then we can conclude. Have I said thank you for joining? Yes, I've said thank you for joining. Don't mind me. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. So, okay. Fumilola is saying, I watch movies and read novels to find joy. Yes, I watch movies, so I read novels, but sometimes it a choke walk, but I do these 2 things, especially on weekends. Yes, so what I want you to take out from this live is that this motherhood thing we are doing, it's a journey with God. It's a divine assignment. Don't see it as one ordinary thing. Like, even if it's the only thing. I tell myself, like, I had this self-discovery phase of my life between last year and this year so much that I told myself that even if this motherhood thing is the only thing I end up doing with my whole life, like, as long as I do it right, as long as I raise these children well in a way that God will be proud of me, see, I've finished work. So you're in a journey with God. You're in a journey with God. So even when your human nature comes in, when you want to be angry, when you want to be bitter, you don't need to be a speaking in tongues Christian to have a close relationship with God. You can just tell him that he said that we should ask and it shall be given unto us, so that you are asking him for help. You are asking him for help, that you don't have a lot of words to express how you feel, but that his spirit searches our heart and knows what we want to say, even when we're not saying it. So that he should please search your heart, and see how it is inside there, and just do that thing that you're asking. You understand? So that's it. We're in a journey with God. We're in a journey with God. Okay. Nigerian moms and wives in Turkey said, like, joining this life and working alongside, so I don't feel bad that I have so much to do, but just to sit down, it is well. Thank you. Okay, JJ Lola is saying, I plan play dates with moms in the same phase. Why is the children? Hey, see, if you love anything homeschooling or activity-based learning, I don't know how to describe it. See, living, playing, learning. You have to follow her as you're on this live now. You have to follow her. I like her page so much. Like, I've learned so much from her page. Homeschooling, children's activities, educational activities, all sorts of things. Please follow her. Follow JJ Lola right now. You're not going to regret it. I plan play days with moms in the same phase. Yes, it's good though. Assuming I knew a lot of people offline, I would have. The reason why I've not bothered planning any offline thing is, I don't know whether that day I'll now wake up and not feel like going anywhere. You know, that kind of mood swings. That's why I've not planned anything. Yes, while the children play, we catch up on life, share stories, and just generally let's go as much as honestly, honestly, this can be so therapeutic. Well done, JJ Lola. I see your good work. I'm your #1 fan. Well done. Okay, Chidima is saying, I'm intentional about spending more times doing those things that make me happy. Like right now, I'm drawing my bros watching this live video. Hot babe. Okay, I don't have to, but I love that I'm doing it for myself. That's great. Okay, so that's it. We've come to the end of today's live, so I'll save it on my page, but you can also just copy the link and share with any mom you know. So recently I also started saving videos on YouTube for longevity, so I'll also still save it in my YouTube page sometime this weekend and also share with mothers so that you can always have access to it at every point. Okay, so thank you for joining. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next live. Thank you. Bye bye.